When you guys go out, who pays for the dates?
Mostly him.
Always him, but
When do you pay?
groceries.
When it's really important, necessities, sometimes.
Like,
Groceries and
Occasionally.
the electric bill. The electric bill?
so you cover the electric bill for sure.
Yeah, I do.
$60, $70.
Don't
Maybe-
lie,
maybe
don't
like
lie. It's
max
100 plus. It's 100 plus. He's a capper.
Like he covers everything else?
Yeah.
Okay. So if he's covering 90% of the bills, what else do you bring to the table?
She's gorgeous.
Love and genuine loyalty, and it's not all about money.
Do you think a guy should pay for all the dates?
No, I disagree. When we first started dating, he paid for the first date, and then by the second and third date, like I would pay for a drink towards the end, and then once we were exclusively dating, we would start splitting stuff.
I had a interesting conversation with a potential partner not too long ago about the roles of a partner, specifically a man, regarding relationships financially. She says because my mother and father are traditional people, they've been married their entire adult lives, and my father provides because he owns a business, that I expect the same from my partner. And although I see nothing in particular wrong with wanting to find a successful partner, I think it's a bit short-sighted. Now, she says that every person that wants this should be able to have it, and that if a partner, say a man, cares enough to start a family, then he should be successful enough to be a single income earner for the household. Obviously, this is, to say the least, impossible for most people. If you live in the Western world especially, try to live in Los Angeles with a single income, even if you're a tech guy, even if you're making, say, $100,000 or $150,000. It gets hard when you have kids, when you have to pay all these bills. Now, that doesn't neglect the fact that a woman that stays at home, or a partner that stays at home, let's be realistic, she wants to be the person that stays at home. She doesn't want to be the worker. We'll also have labor, labor of love, taking care of the home, taking care of the kids. That doesn't negate the fact that you still need to have an income to survive, right? So what do we think? I mean, if you can look this up, there's websites for this. What do you think is the average income for an American? I could talk about Serbia after, but the average income for an American, man or woman, is around $40,000 a year. Now, please find me one place in America where $40,000 is enough to support a household. $80,000, you're getting there. $80,000 in a lot of places outside of major, notoriously expensive cities is plausible. But anything below that, you're kind of hurting. You better be using some free services from the government. You basically have to be on some level of welfare to survive in America with a single family, with a single income. That all being said, I believe it's like less than 1% of men are below the age of 35, make $80,000 or $100,000 a year, of a certain height, characteristics, and single. So everyone's chasing this, let's just say 10%. So people like herself, they're all chasing this type of man who's a bachelor, who's successful, who wants to be the breadwinner for the household, the single breadwinner. And of the 90% of women chasing this 10% of men, what do you think happens? Well, what happens is not every woman gets what they think they deserve. Now, what happens is that 10% of men typically choose people who are also similar in their ideals. A lot of these men also want to date someone who's successful. A doctor would date a doctor. A nurse would date a nurse. A surgeon would date a surgeon. Psychiatrist would date a psychiatrist. You can go on. And I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. You can look these things up. People tend to date people of similar professions. People tend to date people who are similarly motivated in life. They have similar aspirations. If I am an athlete, I want to date another athlete. I'm a writer. I would like someone who also is into some type of writing or art, who also has some sort of background similar to me, or at least someone who believes in a similar philosophy. But in regards to finances, I would like someone who's secure. They don't have to be rich, but they should have their ducks in a row so I don't feel like I'm just taking care of a child. All that being said, I think the more important aspect of this perception of dating, this idea, this aspiration, is that it is a common aspiration in the same communities where people are not so fast to reject the patriarchy. In fact, it's the opposite. A lot of people who have this mindset, they embrace the patriarchy, but only in the sense that they will embrace it for the aspects they care about, right? They want to have a husband that has enough money to take care of the family on their own. But what they don't want is someone who's going to tell them to stay in the kitchen, or someone who tells them, I don't know, your role is in the house. I don't need you to speak. Basically, they don't want someone who's going to fully adamantize what is perceived as patriarchy, which is a male-dominated world. They want to have their equal space in a male-dominated world, and also the benefits that come with it, with none of the negatives. But the negatives, by the perception of most feminists, is inherent to the patriarchy. So can you have this traditional conservative mindset without the negatives that come with it? I don't think so. And in addition to that, seeking this traditional aspiration, this traditional lifestyle, is near impossible for most. You could be the one that's lucky, and congratulations. But realistically, you're going to be one of that 90% that don't make it, that don't pass the bill. But this has been spoken of a myriad of times. I'm not the first person to talk about this, but I notice here in the Balkans, a lot of women do seek this breadwinner. And as someone that could be the breadwinner, that still wants a partner that has some career, I find it quite frustrating. But c'est la vie. I'm about to move on to Spain anyway, so maybe I could find some highly aspirational, outgoing, cute hippie somewhere in España. All right, adios.